Hi everyone, it's Mickle the Pickle. Today I'm going to show you how to turn these 14-inch electrodes into these little baby 6.5-inch electrodes. But first, why would you do this in the first place? There are 3 reasons that I can think of why you would want to do this. The first is on small diameter pipe welding. I just have this spray adhesive can to represent a small diameter pipe. I believe it would be maybe about 3 inches in diameter. If you're trying to weld on the outside, your hand is going to have to move pretty fast because of the mechanical advantages involved. The longer the electrode, the more your hand has to move. And that can be kind of difficult if you're just learning. Or if you're taking a weld test, you might want to have every advantage you can get. With a shorter electrode, it's far easier to make it around the pipe. The second reason is welding in tight spaces. For obvious reasons, a smaller electrode is more easily manageable and you can fit in tighter spaces rather than a longer electrode. It sounds like a small thing, but you can save yourself from some really big headaches by just shortening your electrodes if you're welding in tight spaces. And it might even save you from having to switch your machines into MIG mode. The third reason is stability. With a longer electrode, holding it out here, each tiny movement you make is multiplied. This can make it hard to do patterns when you're welding and to get a straight bead if you're just learning. A shorter electrode has less mechanical advantage, so you can get more control on the bead. Enough talk, now I'm actually going to show you how to shorten the electrodes. For this job, I recommend getting a set of mini bolt cutters. There are even smaller versions than this that I would recommend because these can be a little hard to handle. But this makes it so much easier than trying to cut through with some pliers. I used to use tin snips for this. That does work if you're in a pinch, but these are always recommended. Your first instinct might be to just slice the electrode, and then you've got this end, and then make the section that the stinger grips onto. This way you only make one cut and you end up with 2 electrodes, but this is not the right way, and I'll show you why. The end on one of the electrodes, if you can see this, gets without flux. You never want to cut the flux with this and have that as your striking end. So by doing it like that, you only end up with one salvageable electrode, which is this one. The correct way of doing this is by making both the striking ends on either side. This side is already the striking end on the rod, but this side we can just trim that end off. You want to just cut there so you don't have any exposed steel on the end. Be careful to not cut too far up or you'll damage the flux. See here, the entire thing is covered in flux. Now we just need to separate the 2 electrodes. You can locate the center if you want, but honestly I never do. I don't think it makes that big of a difference. Now, in the middle of this electrode, we are going to make a cut. It's alright if you damage the flux. This is where we made the cut, and these are the striking ends. Notice there's no damaged flux with my method. Now, we are going to turn about 1 inch of this into bare steel. The way I do this is by just guessing about 1 inch down and breaking off the flux with the bolt cutters. Don't cut through the bare steel. Now the flux will be severed about 1 inch down. I just bash this off with a hammer. Now, this is bare steel. This is the end that goes in the stinger. There you go. Alright, I've got one of the small electrodes in the stinger. I'm going to run this at about 125 amps. This is 6013. Shields that. Alright, came a little close to the edge there. Alright, now for a full-size 6013. Shields down.
So
I made about the same length weld with this much length electrode left. So this top weld is the one we made with the shorter electrode, and this bottom one is with the full size. So you can see they're about the same. I know these aren't the prettiest welds ever, but in my defense, it's a little bit hard working around the tripod. I was trying to get my hand out of the way. I deliberately consumed the entire electrode on this top one, the shorter one. With this bottom one, with the full-size electrode, I still got about half of it left. So you can see why we don't always just use shorter electrodes. Look at that weld. Stick welds can't be as pretty as TIG welds, but I think it's pretty good. Jokes aside, I'm not that great at stick welding, or welding in general, but it's alright. In summary, shorten stick electrodes if you're learning how to weld, need a weld in a tight space, or if you want to, on a pipe welding test for a small diameter pipe. In any other situation, I recommend using full-size electrodes. That size has been picked for a purpose. It's ideal. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please leave a like if you enjoyed. If I wasn't clear enough, please leave a comment in the description. Leave a comment in the comments, not the description. Okay, thanks, see y'all.